The amount of sunlight reaching the Earth's surface each day is thousands of times more than the amount of energy used by all human beings. And therein perhaps lies at least part of the answer.
We're reaching a turning point, a critical threshold, where the cost of solar electricity is quickly approaching grid parity in certain states, where it becomes as cheaper to generate power from the sun as it does from fossil fuels.
Showing off some handheld examples of solar power, Executive Director of the Solar Electric Light Fund, Bob Freeling, says solar energy has helped transform the lives of people living in poor, rural communities in Africa, Asia, and South America without damaging fragile ecosystems. In Burundi, for example, the Solar Electric Light Fund, along with Partners in Health, installed a 10-kilowatt solar electric system for a health clinic with thousands of patients. Electricity is vital for keeping medicines and vaccines refrigerated, and thorough exams would be nearly impossible without the use of modern medical equipment. In rural communities all over the world, solar panels are lighting up electricity, replacing the work of diesel generators and lighting up schools, hospitals, and homes. Freeling says solar can also help bring the wonder of the Internet to communities that did not have it before.
It's becoming increasingly viable now to bring Internet access to rural communities using a combination of solar and wireless technology such as Wi-Fi.
It seems anything a diesel engine can do, solar can do cleaner. In Benin, Africa's Kalele district, solar-powered water pumps even help irrigate crops all year in a region that has a 6-month-long dry season.
We're just really excited because this combination of sustainable energy, access to water, and food production is something which many parts of the world are going to be needing, especially as climate change exacts a greater and greater toll on water supplies around the world.
The sun provides a seemingly endless supply of energy, but there are some downsides. Solar energy is completely dependent on sunshine. Clouds, fog, and shady areas impede the efficiency of photovoltaic cells. And solar panels are prohibitively expensive for many people, especially in the developing world. But as the technology improves, so should the price. Most of the world's renewable energy sources are initially expensive to put in place. But Carl Gaywell, Executive Director of the Geothermal Energy Association, says the payoff is in the long term.
If you can think of it this way, what you're doing is you're trading off fuel costs for upfront capital costs, which, if in the long run, over 10, 20, 30 years, may make perfect sense. But the difference is you're going to pay a lot more for that power plant up front, because in a sense you're developing the oil field and the power plant and the pipeline that takes the oil from the oil field to the power plant. You're developing all that in one site.
However, Gaywell says geothermal energy is one of the best long-term investments for generating power.
The best analysis I've seen of looking at comparative costs was done by the California Energy Commission, where every 2 years they look at the comparative cost of all new technologies moving forward, from clean coal to nuclear energy to all the renewables. And geothermal has consistently been one of the lowest three in terms of its levelized cost over time.
Like solar, geothermal's potential is unlimited as it taps into the naturally occurring heat below the Earth's surface to generate electricity. Gaywell says the primary sources for geothermal activity are close to rift lines in places such as California and East Africa.
The estimates that have been made show that geothermal resources could provide virtually all of the electric power in Kenya and many of the East African countries. In fact, there's interest in geothermal that range from Algeria to Madagascar to the Comoros Islands to South Africa.
Kenya, in fact, has taken the lead in the region to develop geothermal resources, says Gaywell. Its geothermal power station has been online for 30 years. The U.S. state of California's first large-scale geothermal power plant has been in operation since 1960. But now, even regions farther away from seismic activity may have geothermal potential.
With better technology today, we're finding resources good distances from those rift lines. In fact, we're seeing geothermal being developed everywhere from Louisiana to Alaska in the United States and in areas like Germany, which are not exactly what people think of when they think of volcanic areas.
Geothermal and solar power represent just two of a number of renewable energy sources we know of today. So it is possible, perhaps even likely, future energy needs will be met by a consortium of renewables: geothermal, solar, wind, hydroelectric, and biofuels, working together to fuel the world in a cleaner, more sustainable way. Rebecca Ward, VOA News.